It's time for sneak peeks. Let's go over everything coming in the update. We got the new brawler Leon. We got a map preview button. Amazing new graphics, new skins, crazy balance changes, and more. Let's go over all of it right here, right now. Alright, so I know I just said I was gonna go over all the balance changes and what the new best brawlers are in the totally different Brawl Stars. But if I covered that with everything that's in the update, all of that in one video, it would have been like 40 minutes long. So I'm going to cover that in a separate video, which is out at the same time. You can find it in a link in the description or at the end of the video. Right now, we're going to cover everything else besides that. All the new skins, the UI, the graphics, the changes to game modes, and everything else. So let's do it. First of all, you can see we got a totally different user interface at the start. And this is actually your game room, and game rooms are no more. They're now called teams, which makes a lot more sense. You just invite people to your team. That makes a lot of sense instead of having to say game room. So you just invite people from here. Apparently I have no friends, so I can't invite anyone. Maybe you guys can be my friends. But you can also create friendly battles from this super easily, and you can invite people. Actually, anyone can invite people from this. They have to be on your side of the team. Though, for instance, you can't invite people to, for instance, I can't, well, I can, the room leader can, but if you're not the room leader, you can't invite people not on your team. Like, if you're on the top half, you cannot invite people to the bottom half. But of course, the room leader is the only one who can kick people. Now let's go over the new skins and voice acting, because there are a lot of actually really cool skins, and they're not technically new skins. There is a new skin or more, but the other new skins are really just reworks of old skins, but they look so much better from the other skins that I just have to show you them. Are going into it, Shelly. Shelly, pretty small changes to her Bandita Shelly. It is a little bit different, and it looks a little bit sweeter. She looks pretty BA right now, if I don't say. And of course, you also get the Star Shelly skin if you just play Brawl Stars in 2018. I'm pretty positive that's how it works. You can say right there, Brawl Stars Pioneer skin, baby. We are pioneers, creating the forefront of Brawl Stars now. Nita also got a model rework, so Panda Nita is a little bit different, a little bit cooler. Again, not that different though. Now Bull, okay, Bull now has one of my favorite skins in Brawl Stars. Viking Bull looks so sweet, and honestly, this screen right here does not do it justice. He looks so much better while playing him in game. You can maybe tell a little bit, but around his shotgun now is basically an axe. So his shotgun is sort of like an axe wielding thing. And actually, you can't tell it all right now. He has a shield on the back of him. In game, Viking Bull looks so sweet. He is now easily one of my favorite skins. Now Brock, as we know, got a model rework as well. He also got a new animation. Actually looks pretty sweet. I kind of like the jump here and the constant moving. It looks pretty cool, goes with the skin. But Beach Brock also looks different, and I also really like it. His rocket is a shark. I don't know if you can tell. You can sort of tell a little bit. You can definitely tell when he jumps around. It's basically a shark. I mean, he's got everything else is typical beach stuff, but it looks sweet, baby. Dynamite animation looks a little bit different too. He's got the actual birdie under his helmet. It's just so fitting, especially with his catchphrase as well, and it just looks pretty cool. Now, Barley's model got a rework as well, so that means they redid Golden Barley, and I am so glad they did. He looks so much better, and it just feels so fitting. He got the little pocket watch thingy in his pocket. I think it looks all great. Now, they didn't do a redo for White Crow or Golden Ricochet. Hopefully, though, that's on their to-do list. Now, there's not really any other new skins to note, so let's go over the voice acting. There's 3 new voice acting, so no, not all of them have voice acting. But hey, 3, that's more than they've ever added in an update, so I'll take it. Let's go ahead and see them out.
Too bad, man. Feel the power of music.
I feel like Poco's is pretty fitting.
Still friends?
We'll just keep doing this.
Wow, that sucks.
Just try and see them all.
Too bad, man.
I feel like Poco's is pretty fitting. Okay, let's do... It's all 3 P brawlers, okay? Besides Piper. Piper already has it. Penny's is literally just laughs. I don't understand. Like, at least have like an R or something. She's a pirate. But they're just laughs.
Ha ha!
It's like Penny and Frank, the two recent brawlers, all they have are sounds. They just do syllables. Her and hee hee hee. Why?
Bye-bye.
Okay, that's the one thing Penny says. That's not a laugh.
Let's go.
Okay, 2 things.
Yes.
3 things.
Ha-ha.
Okay, she says a few things, but it's mostly laughs, alright? Now, the other brawler that got one is Pam, and I like Pam's.
Repair, reuse, recycle.
The 3 R's.
Wham bam, here comes Pam.
That's... I'm gonna be saying that all the time. Wham bam, here comes Pam.
My tools ain't for fools.
That was not bad.
Come to mama.
That one I'll be saying too.
My tools ain't for fools.
Yeah, so...
Let's get scrappy.
It's basically, I mean, come on. Pam's, I feel like, really fitting. Southern, deep accent, big accent. I feel like it just works for Pam, I think. Oh, and I feel like I may as well show you Leon's animation. You could probably sort of tell in the beginning there, but I think it's pretty cool. Throwing popstick, hey, well, I don't know. Okay, now I sort of skipped a lot of things in the UI because I was just too excited to show you skins. So let's go over everything else in the UI, and then there's some more stuff to go over too. Now, if you're wondering where the chat button is, you can see there's a Brawlers tab, a Shop tab, and a Social tab, which is where your friends list and stuff is. But you're probably wondering how to chat with people. It's this button in the top right corner, those 2 people. That's where you chat with people. I have no friends, but there's a team chat and a club chat, and that is where you chat with people. So I have a couple gripes with this, so we're just gonna have to talk to Supercell, but they are aware this is not the optimal place for chatting. So hopefully they fix this. I think they should add a tab maybe or something, but I think what they're thinking is you want to be able to see the chat room while you're in your game room, because now the game room is basically the home page. So, but the one problem is if you are readied up, you cannot go look at the chat. So if your teammates say something, you have to unready to go check the chat. So you might be doing this game of chicken and the egg of whether you want to go chat or you really want to play the game, but maybe they're trying to tell you something before you play, but you don't know. And it could also be, the notification could be from club chat. Yes, your band is now called Clubs. I feel like we're in Club Penguin or something. I don't really have any comment on changing it to Clubs. Let's just ignore that. It's fine, whatever they want to call it. It's fine, not a big deal. I don't care that much. But the chatting thing, kind of annoying. They're aware of it though, but if we complain about it, make sure that's an important issue, then they will fix it sooner, hopefully. Hopefully they're doing hotfix, but who knows. Now, the other thing you're probably wondering is my profile in Trophy Road. So Trophy Road is now in the top left corner. You can see, because I'm in dev build, I was able to just unlock all the brawlers without actually gaining any trophies. You can't do that in the real build. Now, the rewards are slightly different. I also don't know why I didn't mention this. Brawl boxes look completely different. I'm sure you noticed that. Brawl boxes, you can see big boxes, mega boxes are just like bigger. Let's go to a mega box. Scroll, find one eventually, like 4,000 trophies. There we go, mega box. So you can see mega box looking pretty sweet. Coins look different as well. Keys are now called tokens. That's another big change. Keys are now called tokens. I never really liked keys, so I'm totally cool with that. Tokens makes a lot of sense. Now, one really big gripe I have is if you want to go see your profile, you have to do it from Trophy Road. If you are really high in trophies, you have to scroll a long time. Let's say you are all the way at 10,000 trophies, which is having every brawler 500. Actually, with Leon, it'll be 11,000. So let's see, am I at 11,000 yet? Yes, I passed 11,000. Okay, right here. So let's say you're right here. Now you want to go see your profile? All right, let's see how long it takes. Still waiting. Not there yet. Not there yet. All right, there we go. Now we're at our profile. So that's how long it takes to get a profile. A little unfortunate. They do have some new profile icons. You can see Dynamite Brock. Brock's got really big teeth, but hey, that's cool. There are 2 Franks. That's going to be fixed. I think that's, one of them is Leon. So Leon. Leon is not there. So Leon will have an icon. Definitely not going to be 2 Franks. Everything else, pretty much the same. Oops, I forgot to turn music back on after doing the voice acting. But there's another big thing added to the game, and that is a map preview button. This is fantastic. Also, I think that they have like sprites for, which is really interesting. Now, one thing you might be wondering is you're seeing a lot of new names, but actually there's no new maps. As far as I know, there's no new maps, and I have no complaints over there no new maps because there's over 40 maps in the game. Each game mode has at least 5 maps, so I really have no gripes with it. But it's fantastic that you can now see it, but unfortunately, I'm pretty sure only the game room leader can actually see the new map. Or maybe that's only in friendly battles. It's one of the two, but still, it's pretty freaking awesome that you can now actually have a map preview button. All you gotta do is press that little eye. Now, while there are no new maps, you may have noticed that some of these maps actually do have a good amount of changes. With the maps being 4 tiles wider, there are some definite changes to a lot of maps, so you will have to get used to playing them all again. Another thing is you can now request to join a game room. So if you see a room you want to play with, you can request to join. The leader can hit accept or deny, which I think is fantastic that they now added an option like that. Now, another thing to note is there is no replays coming in this update. I know this is disappointing for a lot of us, as we did sort of expect it since they've been talking about it for a long time. But I believe the reasoning is with a huge influx of players coming into Brawl Stars really soon, they sort of want to see how their servers just do with all the new players, let alone with all the new players plus replays. Replays is totally different from how they've done with any other game, and it's a lot of work on their servers. So they sort of want to, from what I believe, they want to see how their servers are going to do with all this huge influx of players. I mean, look, we want Brawl Stars to be as successful as possible, which means there's going to be a ton of new players joining. So they want to see how their servers go, and then maybe they'll add in replays after that, I believe. Now, one really exciting thing is there's a new event modifier, sweet, called Healing Mushrooms, which is actually pretty crazy. What it does is it spawns these huge circles of healing, sort of like Pam's turret, but stronger. They heal about 1,000 health per second. They last for a couple seconds, and they tend to spawn where someone was recently. It's not going to spawn exactly where someone was, but it'll be where someone was recently. It might focus on multiple players or not. I believe it's sort of random what player it focuses on, and they spawn a good amount. Of course, like any event modifier, they don't start right away, but you end up with some crazy gameplay because it can be pretty hard to die in those healing mushrooms, so people tend to get their supers a lot, and the gameplay just gets really crazy. Now, there were some other changes to some of the other event modifiers and game modes in general. Let's go over the event modifiers first. Life Leash got some changes, so now all player-based healing, like Barley's star power, like Pam's star power, is reduced by 75%. So now it's not going to be like Barley and Pam are the clear best brawlers for Life Leech. It's going to be more based on who can get those kills to stay alive and healing themselves. Also, this is a small change. If a player dies while they're poisoned and they die from Life Leech damage, because you lose health over time from Life Leech, but you also are poisoned at the same time, the player who poisoned that person will get the full healing instead of it just going to the Life Leech. I don't know if that fully made sense, but yeah. Robo Boss is now called Angry Boss, and it has a good amount of changes. Robo, the Robobot, can no longer see in the bushes, so if you're hiding in the bushes, you can actually escape from the boss, which is kind of cool, because it has so much health, it can be kind of annoying to not be able to escape at all in some cases. Also, the Robo cannot hide in the bushes. I think before, if he was running through the bushes, you would not be able to see him unless he was attacking or taking damage. That's no longer true. Now, also, when the robot dies, they drop 5 power-ups, which I think is a great change. I think 5 may be a little bit too much. I think in Duo Showdown, that's going to be insanely strong, because a lot of times you can just sort of bait the boss towards you, but maybe people will be going to try and kill it now, and there'll be fights over who can kill it, and you might be wasting shots on that, or maybe you're going after teams fighting for it, and then there's also a robot in their face, and you're going to kill them while they thought they were going to get 5 power-ups. They have to deal with even more than that. So I think this is a really good change, though. Maybe it's a little bit too much, but at the least, it's a really good start. Also, brawlers can charge their super up by attacking the robot boss, which is also kind of crazy too. So I don't know, that's going to be a really big change as well. Now there's even more incentive. Not only are you going to charge your super, but you're going to get those 5 power-ups. So that's a really big change to it. Additionally, pets and turrets can now target the robot boss. I guess before they couldn't, so this is definitely good. Now, Robo Rumble is now a little bit different as well. It says the map is larger. I didn't actually get to try it out. I'm assuming it's 4 tiles larger, just like everything else, but I don't exactly know. But it also says with enemies attacking from all sides. Now, I don't know if that's because you're not going to be close enough to all the robots to pull the aggro to all of them. To make them not go to the safe, you have to be within a certain distance to them, so they go to you instead of the safe. It could be that because it's a larger map, they're not able to ignore that aggro if you're all on a certain side of the map, or it's easier to do so. That could be a possibility. Or maybe it's literally just a much wider map and they're just going from even more directions, which is going to be insane. But something that I do like that they're doing, because I thought this was always really annoying, is those huge robo-bots that charge, those melee ones, they no longer charge, which is fantastic. I always thought they were the most annoying robot. It was really good to change up the meta in Robo Rumble, but I always just thought they were really annoying. So I'm glad they're no longer doing that, but it's still going to be really hard to get a good time, probably because the map's going to be so much wider. You're not going to be able to get robots grouped up as much, which means area of effect stuff like Barley, Dynamite, Colt Supers, Ricochet Supers, Frank is going to be not as strong as they used to be in Robo Rumble. Also, I feel like I should mention that practice mode is removed. You can no longer do that, I think probably because there's now a map preview button, and in friendly battle, if you want to play bots, you can still do that. Now, some other things to note with just game mode changes is now whenever a player respawns, one, there's a new sound whenever they respawn. So if you're not able to see them spawn, you can hear them that they spawn, whether it's an ally or an enemy. Two, there's now a spawn location, so you know where people spawn. And this is actually really useful to yourself, because a lot of times you were spawning like in Heist or in Brawl Ball, and you didn't know where you were going to be as far as in relation to the enemy, and you were always wondering, okay, what side am I going to spawn on? You know, how am I going to move after I spawn? Because sometimes there's a wall in your way right when you spawn. You might have to go left or you might have to go right depending on where you spawn. So that's definitely a nice feature to add. Also, the spawn locations have changed for Heist and Brawl Ball. Now in Brawl Ball, you spawn behind the goal. So this is what I was talking about yesterday's video, where you can now actually corner the ball behind the goal, which is a really big buff to cornering. But there's a sort of change in that it's also going to be easier to score goals if someone isn't cornering, because you're going to spawn behind the goal, which means if you did not corner the ball, it's going to be really hard to go and stop someone from cornering, because you now have to go from behind the goal to all the way around it and try and stop them from scoring that goal. In general, I think this is going to be really good for the pace of game for the non-top gameplay. I am worried about the top gameplay where people, when they get a 1-goal lead, are just going to start cornering the ball, and it's going to be such an insanely strong strategy. If you are okay with doing this sort of gameplay, then you will probably do really, really well as long as you get that 1 goal, because it's just going to be so difficult. You can easily just have one person on the left side of the goal, one person on the right side of the goal, and just pass it between each other, and they will never probably get the ball. It's going to be insanely hard to stop. Also, one really cool thing they did add, though, is when one of your teammates is aiming the ball in Brawl Ball, you now see the direction they're aiming, which is fantastic. I think that's such a great add. Now you can sort of be more prepared for that pass. You can sort of communicate, especially with super passes. Now you can get really tricky, and I think that's just a really good small change that they added. I'm glad to see it. Also in Heist, you now spawn behind the safe. I might have said this, but this is another big change for Heist. It's going to be probably easier to defend the Heist, but hold on, the maps are a little different as well, so wait to play them out and see. And you're also going to see, because these balance changes, Heist is going to be really different. Some other gameplay changes is you can now cancel a normal attack and use your super. Before, if you were in the middle of a normal attack, you could not use your super until that attack was done. Now if you press the super button and you are in the middle of an attack, you will use your super. Another thing that they added is now haptic feedback on your device for when you're trying to basically not actually attack. And this is probably only on phones. I don't think this works on iPads. Usually those devices do not vibrate. When I say haptic, I mean that you get a small vibration on your device, and you can probably turn this off too. But when you when you're trying to aim and then you put it back in the center, which makes it no longer be aiming, it means you will not shoot, you get a little haptic feedback. Your device vibrates a little bit, telling you, hey, you're good to go. You're not going to be shooting. One huge change, and I'm so glad they did this, is they added a 5th event slot. I actually can't show you the event slots right now, so you don't have to believe me, but the 5th event slot is going to be only ticketed events, which I think is fantastic. Ticket events is no longer disrupting the normal cycle of stuff. And the 4th event slot is going to be always event modifier game modes. Whatever it is, it's going to switch between different game modes, and it's always going to be event modifiers. And every other event slot is going to be the same, but I'm so glad they added another event slot. Something else to note is in the shop, and I can't show the shop right now, but there's new free items. So instead of getting a daily free box, you might get something else for free instead. Like you might get coins, you might get power points, you might get tickets, or you might get token doubler. So there's other free items you might get instead of your daily free box. There is also a bunch of new support for different languages, and there's supposed to be some matchmaking improvements, which I think we all kind of expected with Global. Alright, I go over the balance changes and the best brawlers in the new meta in that video over there. Go check it out. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you later.